It's got to be real.
Be real. Be real. Okay guys, so let's talk some boxing. Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. Now, Eddie Hearn's been talking about the fight. Amir Khan has mentioned the fight. Kell Brook hasn't talked about it recent, but obviously he would love that fight, big money payday. There's a chance it could happen, and the reason being is because Amir Khan, Manny Pacquiao might be most likely falling through. He's not getting Floyd, he's not getting Pacquiao. Amir Khan wants a big name, a big blockbuster fight now. Now, let me just cast your minds back, and I'm going to do a video, and the reason I'm doing a Kell Brook Amir Khan video is because I believe it could very well happen in 2016. And I just want to cast your mind back to, I don't know how long ago it was, but I just want to cast your mind back to Amir Khan versus Marco Antonio Barrera and Andreas Katalnik, them days. Now, when we were looking at the Amir Khan then, and when we're looking at the Amir Khan after Danny Garcia, I believe we're looking at a much superior fighter and a boxer after Danny Garcia. It took time to build, but I believe he's there now where he's less likely to get knocked out. Before, at that point, nobody knew how to beat Amir Khan. Now people have looked at him, he's had a few fights, he's been heavily analysed, he got knocked out by Danny Garcia, blueprints were set, so Amir Khan's had to adjust. But now he's at a point where there is no really blueprint to beat Amir. You know how to beat him, but it's difficult to execute that and knock him out. Okay? Saying it, analysing it is one thing, doing it is a totally different thing now. Under Virgil Hunter, his defense has become a little bit tighter. He's filled you see, before, there was massive gaps in Amir Khan's game, like his footwork, his catching him when he throws. He liked to get into a wall, and then you could catch him in between and get him like that, or you could pressure him, and pressure him and get him towards the ropes, and he's not a massive inside strong fighter. I mean, he's a boxer, so these were things you could tackle about Amir. But after Virgil Hunter's taken over and Amir Khan's, them gaps have lessened. The gaps, there's still small gaps there, and he can be beaten, obviously. Any fight can be beaten, but the gaps have closed. Do you know what I mean? So now Amir Khan is more difficult to beat than he's ever been because his defense is a little bit better. If he does go down, he knows how to get back up and win a fight. Before, we saw him get up and bang, down again, And he got stopped by Prescott, he got stopped by Danny Garcia, both in the same fashion where he got up, didn't win the fight. Got up, but he didn't win the fight. He should have won both them fights. Because when Prescott knocked him down, he should have covered up, waited for a punch, ducked it, held, spun him. This is knowing boxing, right? And he was always able to do that because we saw him do it against Julio Diaz. He held. And that's what you're meant to do. You're not meant to go balls to the wall. If you're not that sort of fighter, if you're a boxer, you're meant to hold, you're meant to move. If you're a brawler, then you get up and you fire back. But if you're not that sort of fighter, if you're not a big power puncher, and you are a technical boxer, then you should use your technical capability. Amir Khan didn't do that. Now, however, he does it. But I was making a point. My point is, let's cast your minds back to when he fought Katalnik. He fought an old Barrera, but Barrera, in my opinion, was still goodish, but I think the reason he lost is because he was fighting at a very high weight class because of his age, and he couldn't make couldn't make a low weight class. He was fighting at 140 pounds. He wasn't going to beat Amir Khan on 140 pounds. Nah, just wasn't going to happen. Too big, just too young, and just too much. So Amir Khan beat him, and then Amir Khan, he faced McCloskey in between that somewhere, and Amir Khan never got the credit for the Katalnik win, because I think Katalnik was always a really good fighter. I thought he won the Devin Alexander fight, so he was good. Underrated. Not as good as Sean Porter, but the amount of credit Kell Brook got for beating Sean Porter, because it was like Kell Brook's been stalling, and finally he got his IBF world title shot, and he finally did it. So there was a big deal made of the IBF title that Kell Brook got, because you see, Amir Khan's achievements have all constantly been up here. So we've kind of started taking Amir Khan for granted. So the achievements that he does are not as going to be. If Kell Brook goes and beats a certain fight, same fight when Amir Khan beats, Kell Brook will get more credit because his achievements, speaking relative of Amir, have not been as high. I mean, Amir Khan has achieved a substantial amount of stuff in boxing, but I'm not being biased towards Kell Brook. We're going to talk about Kell Brook in a second as well, but so let me cast your mind back. So Amir Khan, right? He was fighting all these guys. I mean, there was Zab Judah in there. He was calling it Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley didn't want the fight. There was Lamont Peterson and there was Danny Garcia. And if you remember, cast your mind back to that time. Do you remember HBO Boxing, right? They were showing Amir Khan's picture. There was Timothy Bradley, Devin Alexander, Lucas Matisse, Lamont Peterson, and eventually Danny Garcia cropped in there as well. That was the 140 pound, and Zab Judah. And that was 140 pound mix. And Amir Khan faced Peterson. I believe he beat him. There was 2 points deducted in the fight. Lamont Peterson was also on steroids. You cannot compare a fighter who's on steroids to one who isn't. I felt Amir Khan, you can't count that as a loss. You have to count that as a win. In my opinion, there's too much in that fight to just ignore. Too many things. Steroids is the one thing. That dude who was next to the judges is another. The points, 2 points deducted for pushing. I've never heard of that in my life. They're three things right there. And then on top of everything, I still felt Amir won the fight. Even with all the point deductions and all that crap, Amir Khan still won the fight. So I'm going to count that as a win. But the point is that as we look into it, Amir Khan was facing everybody and anybody in his weight class. He was not scared. He was not shy. There was no one he was ducking. And there was the biggest fighter of all he faced was Marcus El Chino Maidana, the knockout artist. Amir Khan faced him. He was a star. He was going on the TV shows in America. He had dominated America in a manner where Kell Brook has not even come close to doing. Not at all. Amir Khan was... And this is why Amir Khan is the name that he is. And people want to hate it. You want to dislike the video. But Amir Khan built his name. He didn't just get given a silver medal. You know, you don't just get a medal at the Olympics. You know, it's 2 seconds. You have to earn it. And he was the youngest British boxing Olympian ever. Okay? So, up until that point, Amir Khan was this phenomenon. He was a brilliant, excellent fighter. Yes, he'd be knocked out by British Prescott, but he'd built his career back. And then came the knockout loss against Danny Garcia. But I don't think the Danny Garcia knockout harmed him as much as it benefited him. I think it's really benefited him because he's fixed his gaps. You know, them gaps. Before they were this wide. Now under Virgil Hunter, they're this wide. I think Virgil has closed the gaps in Amir Khan's boxing game. I think he's a far better technical fighter. I think Freddie Roach is a very overrated, good trainer, but very overrated, very offensive trainer. Good for fighters who are rough and, you know, not necessarily technical boxers, but very offensive, hardcore fighters. Mega Cotto is a perfect example. But fighters who carry intangibles such as speed, footwork, and technical fighters, I believe he's not that good for them because Freddie Roach will tell you, go bang, and you get knocked out. We've seen it with Pacquiao, we've seen it with Khan, we've seen Cotto get hit a lot. His defense isn't that good. It was shown when he fought Canelo Alvarez. Several fighters or Freddie Roach, I don't think they're brilliant boxers. He's good at teaching offense, but not the best. I think the coaches such as Floyd Senior, Roger Mayweather, Virgil Hunter, Peterson's trainer, I forget, Barry Hunter, I believe his name is, and Adrian Brawner's coach. Them trainers, I believe, are good in their own respect in technical boxing and very underrated. But anyway, since Amir Khan's gone to Virgil, he became a better boxer in my opinion. However, there became an obsession with Floyd Mayweather Jr. And the problem is that he was trying to chase his Floyd fight because it was getting talked about. He eventually built his name back up on the floor. Amir Khan's name had already been established. He didn't realise when it happened, but it happened where his name was established in America. Britain became this phenomenon's name, Amir Khan. A very well recognised household name in Britain. And in America, very well recognised. Now, 2015, where are we at? We're at a point where Kell Brook has beaten Sean Porter and faced no one else. As predicted, you know, Kell Brook doesn't face fighters. He fights people in the IBF ranking, and the IBF ranking is absolute rubbish. They've just stripped Tyson Fury. IBF, I don't like the sanctioning body one bit. I think they're sanctioning. I mean, where the hell did Joe Jordan come from? This Bezier, where the hell's he come from? Who are these? I mean, I've heard of Bezier, and I've heard of Joe Jordan, if I'm honest. I follow the 147 division quite carefully, and his name wasn't one that cropped up on my eyes. I always check out the list, and his name was never a name that cropped out. Thinking, oh, you know what, Joe Jordan, you know, like so. Kell Brook Kell Brook hasn't really faced anyone. He's faced Sean Porter, and the thing is that Kell Brook's entire name, Kell Brook's entire resume, everything about Kell Brook has been built upon the name of Sean Showtime Porter. Now, given, I'm going to say this as well, that Kell Brook beat an in-prime fighter who was young, he was hungry, he was a killer, and Kell Brook beat him, and he deserves credit for that. And he went and took the IBF 147-pound strap IBF belt off Sean Porter, rated. Now, the thing is though, with Mayweather fully retired out of boxing, apparently, and Manny Pacquiao retiring, if the fight falls through of Manny Pacquiao versus Amir Khan, there will be no one left for Amir Khan to chase that is a massive pay-per-view fighter, which means we will likely see Kell Brook versus Amir Khan, because Amir Khan is chasing a big, not necessarily a money fight, but a big named fight. He wants a blockbuster fight. Okay, so apologies, battery died. Okay, now, in terms of the actual fight itself, Amir Khan, Kell Brook, let's just talk about it if it does go down in 2016, because it is looking likely. How do I see the fight going? Now, first things first. Two ways the fight goes, okay, and everybody knows this, is... No. Let's just entertain all different ways the fight could go. Okay, not all, but the majority. Amir Khan by points, Kell Brook by points. Amir Khan by knockout, Kell Brook by knockout. Now, obviously, the most likely scenarios are that Amir Khan wins by points or Kell Brook wins by knockout. However, people don't address the fact, can Kell Brook outpoint Amir Khan? Because the thing in boxing is, when you're looking at this elite level, where Kell Brook has been going 12 rounds with several fighters, right? There's a chance that, you know, if he's going, as soon as he stepped up against a fighter like Sean Porter, bam, he went 12. As soon as he stepped up that level, he went 12. Anything below that level, he's been knocking out. But I mean, if Amir Khan fought Joe Jordan, Amir Khan is not a knockout artist on 147. Amir Khan knocks him out. You see? So the thing is, we don't know how hard Kell Brook hits because he never really dropped Sean Porter. Until you drop an elite fighter, you can't say that this guy has heavy hands, he's a big puncher and that, because muscles don't mean much. Kell Brook hasn't got a massive knockout ratio. You know, it's okay. Do you know what I mean? And he hasn't knocked out big elite level fighters, so I don't think that Kell Brook has the amount of pop that people think he has. I think he can bang, but I don't think it's that sort of power that people think. And I think that Kell Brook's boxing is understated. I think it's underrated. However, it's one thing to have boxing skills inside the gym, and it's another thing to show it when you're in Wembley Stadium against Amir Khan in front of you, who's experienced against all sorts of different fighters. You know, he's been in. I mean, Amir Khan has been around the world, facing fighters all across America, all across Britain. He's seen so many different styles, so many different fighters. He's been knocked out. He's had the experience. He's had to dig deep. Kell Brook hasn't ever been in that sort of elite level Wembley Stadium fight. You know, and his legs are gonna be shaking. I mean, he's a chunky, big lad, is Kell Brook, but he's gonna be shaking. His heart's gonna be pounding. It's gonna be and this is the thing: who shines brightest under the lights? Now, Amir Khan's been put under lights, and we've seen that Amir Khan performs when the pressure is on him, that he's gonna get knocked out. He performs best under them circumstances. Kell Brook had his opportunity against Sean Porter, but several people felt he lost the fight. I'm not going to say he lost, but I'm going to say it was very, very close. Okay? And the judges gave it to Kell, but it was a close fight. And if you have a lot of people who felt that Kell Brook lost and he didn't take the belt from the champion and this and that, then you can't say that Kell Brook's really shined that night. Do you know what I mean? You've got to rate him that he did it and he beat an in-prime Sean Porter. But I mean, that's it. I mean, what happens when Amir Khan versus Kell Brook takes place in a massive stadium fight in Wembley? All the pressure's on, all the chips, the belt, the life, everything, and you're in against an experienced 29-year-old Amir Khan who has been around the block in the Olympics. He's been against all the fighters. How do you showcase your boxing skills in that fight? You know, it's hard. I mean, with them hands flying at 100 miles per hour, blah, 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 not necessarily much power behind it, but all sorts of speed behind it, footwork, angles. You know, Kell Brook will get flustered, in my opinion, in the first few rounds. He won't know what to do with the speed of Amir Khan. The sheer speed of Amir doesn't get showcased on TV as much as in real life. I know this because I've seen amateur footage of Amir Khan fighting, and his speed in terms of when you watch it on the professional cameras and on TV, and then when you watch it on amateur footage, you get to see it a bit more close up, and Amir Khan's fresh, and you know you get to see it's a bit different. The speed is fast. He is a really fast fighter. I've heard of people in training camps with Amir. They say he is as fast as they say he is. He is pretty damn fast. You know, they don't just talk. He has a lot of speed. He has a ton of speed. But where are the gaps? The gaps are that Kell Brook, if he faced Amir, he stands that chance of knocking Amir Khan out. Now, the thing is, to stop Amir, finish him off, I can't see Amir Khan because, you know, it can happen once, it can happen twice, but I mean, it keeps happening again and again. I think it comes to a point where you have to learn from your mistakes. And I do think that Amir Khan will know what to do in the situation. I'd like to think he does. Because he knows what to do, but it's a matter of will he do it? Will he hold Kell Brook if he goes down? Can Kell Brook finish Amir Khan? That's the question. Can he finish him? So one thing knocking your opponent down is another thing finishing. Now, this is the thing. Can Kell Brook outpoint Amir Khan? I think outpointing Amir Khan for Kell Brook is next to impossible. Because Amir Khan just doesn't lose rounds. And to lose rounds against Kell Brook, I will be extremely surprised. But Kell Brook is a very underrated boxer. And you never know what he might be able to do. But I just can't see him having the punch output. I can't see him having the punch accuracy with the footwork and the Amir Khan's hands held high, landing cleaner, effective punching on Amir Khan round after round after round and winning 7 rounds against Amir Khan. I don't see that happening. However, I can see Kell Brook winning maybe 3 rounds in the fight and dropping Amir Khan once or twice as well and making it that sort of fight where he wins a 10-8 round. He might not, because if Amir Khan faces Kell Brook, right, and it's a close round and Amir Khan edges it, but Amir Khan drops in the round, that's a 10-8 round. You see? So, if you get that, right, and then on top of that, Kell Brook wins 3 rounds, I mean, he's kind of like, and then he wins 1 more round, bang. See? That is the sort of thing that we could see. But honestly speaking, honestly from heart, I think Kell Brook has very good footwork. I think that he goes from orthodox to southpaw very easily. He's very good in terms of being around the ring, you know, moving around the ring. His footwork, his counter punching is brilliant. He throws a beautiful check hook, does Kell Brook, actually. I've seen him throw check hooks. So I've seen his footwork on display. He's got a beautiful jab. A beautiful jab. His Kell Brook's jab is strong and it's stiff. Amir Khan's jab is bang, bang, bang. His jab is fast. You don't even see it coming. Bam, head movement. Bang, head movement. Bang, turns the jab into a left hook. Pivots to the left hand side. Bang. Kell Brook will be moving his head, right? And I think that you could see a potential counter punch from Kell Brook, but to land clean on an Amir with the loaded shot at this point in Amir Khan's career is not going to be easy, because I think Chris Algieri managed it, because Amir Khan wasn't prepared for Chris Algieri to come and do that. He'll be prepared for Kell Brook to come and do whatever he needs to do. He's going to expect Kell Brook to come out, throwing big shots, getting counter punched. It's going to be on Amir Khan's mind. Do not get counter punched. And I think that's where you have to throw it in. And I think the reason I throw it in Amir Khan's court is truthfully because I think Amir Khan will be under so much pressure, and will Kell Brook, and I think Amir Khan will shine under the lights because of the experience. And I think experience will show you that this is boxing, not street fighting. And I think that when you reach elite level, because Amir Khan, I'll tell you something, Anthony Joshua got knocked down in the amateurs. Okay? So many fighters have been knocked down in the amateurs. And then when they go up levels and they get older, when you know, because they get knocked down when they're in their teens, early 20s, and as you get older, I really am a firm believer that your chin improves with time depending on the person. It all depends on the person, you know. Some people at 18, 19 are already like Tyson, he never had a chin problem because it was just, you know what I mean? But I think like some fighters, they take a while to develop and the chin develops over time. And I think that Amir Khan's chin is not as bad as people think it is. I think his chin, I think he got knocked down in his early career against the likes of Willie, because I could have skipped all this stuff if I'm biased, but I'm not, I'm telling you, right? He could have been knocked down, but you see, the reason he got knocked by Willie Lemon, in my opinion, and the fighters in his early career, was simply because he was young and he was getting caught with big shots, and I don't think his chin was up to the test at that time. Because he's gotten older, I do think his chin got a bit better, because we look at Marcus Maidana, but he smashed him around the ring, and Amir Khan didn't drop. He wobbled, he didn't drop. So he withstood the chin test against the biggest hitter that you can possibly face. There is no one bigger at 140 than Maidana. Not Matisse, nobody. Maidana was the biggest hitter at 140 pounds. So then he's gone against Danny Garcia. He didn't see the shot and he got knocked out. So there's two reasons why Amir Khan used to get hurt or knocked out or dropped. One, because he didn't see the shot, and two, because he was young. I think they're the two reasons that Amir Khan dropped. I think now it's going to be very difficult for Kell Brook to finish Amir Khan off in one punch. I think them days are gone. I think you will see Amir Khan maybe get dropped at some point in his career, but I think he'll just get back up and he'll maybe lose a round, and I don't think he's going to get finished off. To be able to knock an elite level fighter out, I mean, Amir Khan, in my opinion, at this age, if he goes and faces Giorgio Dan isn't going to go and knock him out. You know, anybody below a top 10 pound, you know, top 10, not IBF or WBC, but an overall ranking, you know, like Fight News or whatever, right? Ring Magazine, maybe, I don't know. But any rating, my rating of the top 10 welterweights, my rating of the 154 pounds, anybody below the top 10 is not going to be able to hurt Amir Khan, and I think it's very unlikely. I mean, you will get fighters, obviously, who carry some pop, but the majority of people who, you know, who have been around for a while and are kind of like, you know, here and then, they're not necessarily prospects, you know, who are going to come up and take over, whatever. I think anybody less than that, they're not going to necessarily hurt Amir Khan. I think Amir Khan, when he does get hurt, and he might get hurt again, will be against elite level big fighters, and it's going to be very difficult to hurt him, because Amir Khan, he doesn't get hit that much anymore. You know, Chris Algieri showed us that you can hit Amir, but I think because I don't think, you know, it is, you can make 100 excuses for Amir, but I really think that come fight night against Kell Brook, I just don't see Kell Brook stopping Amir Khan. You might be able to see it, but I find it difficult to think Amir Khan wobbles Amir Khan, exposes him, and knocks him out. Because what is there to expose about Amir? I mean, he's been in the Lions Den, he's been in against everyone and everything, he's faced the best, he's done it all. Like, he's faced the elite of the elite, Danny Garcia, Lamont Peterson, Kotelnik, Alexander, Collazo. I mean, you look at it, he's faced the best, and we've seen what there is to see about him. I mean, there's nothing to expose now. We know everything's there. We know what his strengths are. We know his weaknesses are. And I think, like, under Virgil Hunter, I think he'll be all right. I don't think Kell Brook's gonna land a fully loaded shot on Amir Khan, which will finish Amir Khan off. I think he might wobble him. I think he might drop him. But I'm expecting Amir Khan, if that fight happens, to get back up off the canvas and claim a 12 points decision, a comfortable points victory over Kell Brook. That's what I expect. I'd expect a Amir Khan with his hands held very high. I'd expect an Amir Khan who's weighing in around about 158 pounds on fight night, maybe 155, 156. Not about 158, about 158 pounds, close to 160. I'd expect that sort of Amir Khan to come in big, strong. Still fast, because he doesn't build his arms, he builds his shoulders, he builds his legs, he builds his abdominals, his core. He doesn't, you know, I think he's going to be fast around the ring. And I think in terms of Kell Brook, I think he would be flustered by the speed. People say speed doesn't matter. I think speed makes a big difference. Kell Brook has the timing down, but I think Amir Khan's got some timing as well, and timing mixed with speed. I think you're just going to see some really good boxing skills from Amir, and I think, like, truth be told, I think Kell Brook's got power and he's got some good skill, but I mean, he would, in my opinion, have to knock Amir Khan out, and that's the thing. I don't think he can finish Amir. I think, well, he could, it's boxing, but I'm just saying, like, that's a difficult ask to go into a fight where you have to knock the guy out. That's a difficult ask, whoever it is. I mean, if that guy's an elite fighter, it's difficult to just go and just knock the guy out. But tell me what you think. Leave a comment section below. Subscribe as always. People are going to say this is a Kell Brook hate video, whatever. I don't really care. I'm just giving the real opinion. I'm just keeping it real. I don't see Kell Brook beating Amir Khan, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be what people expect it to be. I think Kell Brook's a good counter-puncher, and certain fighters like Timothy Bradley, hell, even Marcus Maidana, pressure fighters, I think Kell Brook's going to do good against. I think when you put him in against a fighter like an Amir Khan, even a Keith Thurman who can box really good, a fighter like hell, even Devin Alexander, good boxers. I think at that point we'll see Kell Brook still do well, but I don't think you're going to see him do as good. And I think if you put him in against a big enough puncher who's got big crack, and is strong and is big, you could see some flaws there in Kell Brook as well. But I think Kell Brook's good, but I think he's beatable because Sean Porter showed us that. Because certain people felt Sean Porter won. Do you know what I mean? Like, so she showed us where Kell Brook's limits lie. I mean, Khan, when he comes in a game, he's like, wow, this is the next best thing since sliced bread. And then sometimes he comes in and he's like, yo, this guy is absolutely shit. So Amir Khan's like hot and cold, and he's difficult to gauge like how good he is because of the fact that he beats the best and he loses against the shittest. Do you see what I mean? Excuse my French, but that's the thing with Amir. He's hot and cold. He's but I think he comes in when he faces Kell Brook. I think he comes in A game. I don't see him coming in any less than A game. He will shine. And you see, the thing is, these are the intangibles why I give it to Amir. The reason Amir Khan wins is because when Amir comes in on A game, I don't think there's anybody who beats Amir Khan at 147 pounds apart from Floyd Mayweather Jr. Straight up, and that's it. I don't think anybody would beat him. And you can say what you like, but when you look at odds, apart from Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, who is a favourite in terms of odds to beat Amir Khan at 147 pounds? There is nobody. Amir Khan will always be the favourite, and the reason is because you could dislike Amir, but the reason is he's got a pretty good resume, pretty good boxing capability. He's got Olympic background. Ain't no joke having a silver medal at the age of 16, 17. He's developed so much as a fighter. He's been through the dust, and he's come out, and he is where he's at. But I think Amir Khan, Kell Brook, 2016, if it happens, I'll tell you off the bat right now, I've seen what I need to see of Kell Brook. I've seen what I need to see of Amir Khan. And truthfully, I don't think Kell Brook beats Amir Khan. I don't. I'm saying I've never said it this confidently, but I've seen enough of Kell Brook to really think that, you know what, he's got some crack, he's got some power, but at 147 pounds, Kell Brook coming down in weight, because he's a big lad, struggling to make the weight. He will struggle to make the weight. Amir Khan coming in very comfortable, ready, chunked out, trained up, muscular, fast, strong. Kell Brook will be strong as well, but I don't think he's going to be as, I think Amir Khan's been at the top. I think Kell Brook is going to eventually move up to 154. I think Kell Brook's going to severely struggle to make weight. His body fat is getting ridiculously low fight by fight. I think when he steps in with Amir Khan, I think pressure, like I just back to what I was saying about the intangibles why I give it to Amir. One, Amir Khan has the way better boxing pedigree in terms of amateur. Two, because Amir Khan has gone down, he knows what it takes to come back up and win. Three, because Amir Khan, I believe, has the better team around him. In terms of his strength and conditioning coach, Tony Brady and Virgil Hunter, I think the brains in his camp are better. I think Kell Brook's got a good coach, very good coach, but I do think that Amir Khan's is a little bit better with Virgil Hunter and Tony Brady. I think strength and conditioning is just going to be unbelievable. Another reason why Amir Khan wins is because I think Amir Khan is a fighter who will shine under the lights, and I don't think Kell Brook will shine. I think he'll be able to cope, but there's a difference between coping and excelling, and Amir Khan is a fighter who excels when the lights are on and the pressure is on, because the pressure is going to be massive in that fight. And I think Amir Khan has been under. I mean, we look at Froch Groves; they were so tentative, both of them, because it was such a big fight. Amir Khan won't be fazed by that. He's lived under the spotlight since he was 17. It's going to be nothing to. It will be obviously nerves, but he's been in it a million times. Kell Brook will have never, ever been under that spotlight. Not like that. The Sean Porter fight was spotlight and it was pressure. But it wasn't that much pressure. And even then, Kell Brook showed that he doesn't shine under the lights. He doesn't perform like on a next level. He got a little bit tentative against Sean Porter. He wasn't coming in like we expect. You know, there were some people who thought that Kell Brook might go in and annihilate and wipe out Sean Porter. That didn't happen. Kell Brook edged it. He just edged the win. So he didn't really shine. He coped, but he didn't shine. So Amir Khan, when he's lost, there was no pressure on the Danny Garcia fight. There was no pressure on the Prescott fight. The pressure was there when he fought first Luis Colazo. His back was up against the wall and he shined. You know, the pressure was against Kotelnik. He shined. Pressure was against Barrera. He shined. They're the pressure fights for Amir Khan. And Maidana, that was pressure. Now, that was a hard fight. But he knocked him down in the first round. He looked fast. He looked bam, 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 bam. I still think he shined. He took some punches, but he got through it. He was mentally there. He was everything, you know. Tough war, tough battle. He got through it. All about shining under the lights. And I think them intangibles, everything all inclusive. I don't think Amir Khan just gets knocked out on such a big occasion and just gets finished off and wiped off the map like that. I think he's got a lot of grit, and that's what will get him through. The grit. I think the willingness to win the fight, using his brains, everything that he's been through. Everyone's going to say he can get knocked out. His Virgil Hunter is going to instill in him, if you do go down, this is what you do. You get up, you make him miss, you grab him, you turn him, you drop on the floor, you say, he hit me low, you do this, you do that, and you get through it. Amir Khan knows how to do that stuff, and he will do that. He's proved against Julio Diaz. He knows how to get off the ground and win the fight. I think you're looking at unanimous decision for Amir Khan if Kell Brook versus Amir Khan happens in 2016. I think... yeah, that's it, man. I think also the weight drain issue is going to be a huge issue for Kell Brook. But conversation below, subscribe as always. Let me know what you think. Kell Brook versus Amir King Khan. The special one, or Amir Khan. Who do you think wins? If Kell Brook was to win, I think it would be by knockout. I don't think he can outpoint Amir. I think he would have to drop Amir Khan at least twice in the fight to stand a chance of winning on points. But if it's like that, I mean, you might as well be saying that Kell Brook has to knock Amir Khan out. To knock Amir Khan out, to knock any elite level fighter out, any elite level fighter. If you look at the elite level and how many knockouts you get, I mean, we've seen so many elite fights. Canelo versus Cotto, there was no knockout. You look at Mayweather Pacquiao, there was no knockout. You look at Sean Porter, Kell Brook, there was no knockout. You look at Keith Thurman versus, I don't know, man, what big fights have there been? Danny Garcia's last fight, Paul Menage, stoppage, not a knockout. I mean, but that wasn't a big fight. Big fights, I'm talking Klitschko Fury, that's heavyweight, no knockout. But let's move back down to welterweight. I'm just trying to think of fights, but the point is, it's rare to get knockouts at 147 pounds at the elite level when you've got two good fighters going at it. Usually it goes to points, especially nowadays. I don't know why, but it's just how it is. Comment section below, subscribe as always. In a bit.